welcome to my Scrappin space. I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin. And I want to share a card with you I made from the Mixed Media's Florals. What do you say we get my face out of the way and talk about it? So Mixed Media Florals is a suite that was released as an online exclusive. And that simply means that to find these products, you're going to go online. You can or talk to your Stampin' Up demonstrator and they'll help you with that. Or you can order online and identify your Stampin' Up demonstrator as the person you're ordering from. But it is a great suite of products. I am focusing today on this really pretty paper, and I'm using, it's what I would call a double suite because it has two sets of stamps and dies. And I am using a die from a bundle called Mixed Labels. And the stamps in here are great. Just a note to let you know you're on my mind. But with Sympathy is what we're using today. But there's an anniversary in here. Happy anniversary. There's a thank you. We can always use that. Your kindness made my day. For a great friend. I'm so glad we're friends. And I love this one. You're pretty wonderful. So let me show you what we're going to do today. I am in need of sympathy cards. All of a sudden, I seem to be sending a lot out again. And so this paper just spoke to me. I thought it was almost calming to me. And I really liked it and felt it would be a good match for me for sympathy cards. So let's make this card and I'll show you the pieces in it. The great thing about working with Stampin' Up products is everything coordinates. And honestly, unless it had told me on the package, which it did, I'm not sure I would have put this green with it, but I really like it. And this green is one of our new in colors. It's the Shy Shamrock. So we're going to start with a Shy Shamrock, say that lots of times, card base, which is a standard card base. And of course, measurements, directions are all on my Scrappin with Joni blog. And I want to get this a nice fold, so I'm going to grab a bone folder and give it a good fold. Then, this is the paper. Isn't that pretty? What's on the back side? Oh, yeah, not so much for a sympathy card, but this is great. But I wanted to mat it, and I like the black with it, especially against that Shy Shamrock. Now, this is really pretty just as it is, but I love to be able to add some texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these two pieces, and then I'm going to emboss it. I'm going to use Dashing Designs, but you could use any embossing folder. But because I know ahead of time I'm going to emboss, this is not a job for liquid glue because you're going to press it really hard together when you emboss. And then it's going to, if you have any extra glue, it's going to, get on your embossing folder and on your card, everywhere you don't want it. So this is great for a tape runner. You don't really need a lot. That embossing really is going to help push these two papers together. And I'm just going to center it. And then, I did not do a great job of that. You know, guys, that's something I could spend all my time just making sure it was really centered, but I can do slightly better. And this is an advantage of the tape runner. If I grab it right away, I can pull it completely off. I'm using Seal Plus. We have two. We have Seal and Seal Plus. Seal Plus is the stronger one, and for me, it just goes on a little easier. Okay, that was easy. Let's get our stuff out of the way and grab our cut and emboss machine. Dashing Designs uses plates 1 and 4. So, we're going to open up our cut and emboss machine. Plate 1, you always use. But the plates are labeled, so that makes it really easy. I'm going to put my paper in here. I'm going to make sure when I send it through that this is on top and I can see the front of my paper through here. Then I know I have it set up right. And then I'm going to put plate 4 over the top. And we're just going to run it through. And I apologize, I'm going to cough. My workspace is really dry and I didn't think to grab water before I started. There we go. This will give it overall texture. So I don't need an embossing design that has leaves and flowers on it. I just wanted to just add a touch of texture to it. And that really did it. I'm going to see if the camera will show you the difference. I'm just grabbing some other paper here. So when we started, we had this. And then, I don't know if you can tell or not, but it has a nice texture to it without getting in the way of the print, which is what you're looking for. So before we attach it to our card base, this is one of the labels from Mix to Labels. There's a great selection of labels in there. And you can always use a label die. I'm going to first put some Shy Shamrock ribbon over this, and then we're going to attach our label. So my rule of thumb roughly is, if I'm just going to knot it and not make a bow, I'm going to do it about 3 times the area I'm going around. This is 4 inches, so I'm cutting a piece, 12 inches, you know, maybe a little more generous. There we go. And then I'm going to grab some glue dots, because the easiest way for me is to put a glue dot where I want that knot, and I want the knot here. Or you could put it right here too, doesn't really matter. Wherever you want the knot, that's where you're going to put a glue dot. So if you haven't used glue dots before, you can't even see them, which is great to have, but they're clear. That's why it's not showing up on my camera. And we're going to grab it and put it where we want the knot to be. And I want it right about here. Then, before I tie the knot, I'm above that glue dot so it doesn't catch, but I'm just going to kind of check, like, this is nothing too scientific, like, oh yeah, I can tie that knot there. Then, I love having lines to work with, whether you're working on our glass mat, which is a favorite of mine, or working on our grid paper. Either way, you can use those lines to make sure you're starting out straight. And then you're just going to tie a knot and catch that knot on the glue dot. And for me, it's easier to go kind of sideways. So I'm pushing down, and that my knot is catching there. So when I tie it again, it's going to stay tight. Like, it isn't going to come loose when I try to get the next knot. Kind of like thinking like having an extra finger to hold it in place when you're wrapping gifts and someone's holding on to that. There we go. I'm not going to do a bow. This is relatively flat. It's not going to add too much bulk. But before I trim it, I'm going to add the little label, because then I'll kind of know where I want to trim. So here's our label, and it says "With Sympathy." Isn't that a great font? And I'm going to use dimensionals to just attach that to there, and it will kind of stand up. And I want it to be really flat against there. So I'm going to do that. But here's what else I'm going to do first. This can kind of wobble, so we're going to help it stay in place. I'm going to grab another glue dot, and I'm catching it on the back of the ribbon. And then it's not going to kind of wobble on me as I attach that, because these dimensionals are about the same size as the ribbon. So they're not really holding the ribbon to the card. They're just popping up that label. Okay. Then we'll do this, peeling off the backs. And I'm going to contain these right away. They're very staticky, and they like to stick to your clothes and your shoes and travel. So I contain them right away to the side here on a little bowl I have. And then this is going here. Now, if I had a different sentiment on here, if it was a birthday wish, a thank you, I would probably add some bling to here, but I don't feel like a sympathy card needs the bling, but I do need to trim up that ribbon. So let me grab my ribbon scissors. Another demonstrator who's become a really good friend gave me this. And what I do is I attach it to my scissors, and I know this scissors is just for cutting ribbon. You can also have them where they're beaded. I gave my cousin, who's an amazing jewelry maker, Marcia, made beaded ones for me that I gave my team for Christmas this year. It's just a nice way to know, keep those scissors sharp, because as you use your snips with paper, they're going to dull more. And you want to have a sharp one there to be able to trim your ribbon. So there we go. All right, now we're ready to attach. As you can see from the back, this is pretty heavily embossed. So this is a great job for our multi-purpose glue. Now this ribbon is not going to go anywhere. If you're concerned about it, throw a little bit of tear and tape or some more glue dots underneath it, but it's stable in the front, so it should be fine. I got a little close. I always tell you not to get too close to the edge. And I did here. So let's see how I do. This is more what you want, because when I push down, that glue is going to spread, and I don't want it to spread out on my card. We can fix it if it does, but I like this green. I think it's almost kind of calming. There we go. Well, we looked out there. So as I said, I took this sentiment from the stamp set Mixed Labels, but there wasn't anything in here that worked. I suppose you could have put just a note to let you know you're on my mind, but typically I send our sympathy cards from Dean and I, so on my mind doesn't work for this. So we have another stamp set called Quiet Reflections. I really like the sayings in there, and from that I took a saying that says, sorry for your loss. I love the font. I love everything about that. So this is a little bleak though, really. So I took just a strip, a 1/2 inch scrap, and I'm going to put that on the inside here. So this is another great job for our multi-purpose glue. Just a little bit along the top of your card, though you could also put the strip down the side, whatever works for you. And that's going to go here. Look what that does. It kind of pulls in the black ink. And because we're using a multi-purpose glue, I can move it around. So I have that. And while I'm gluing, let's add the same print to our envelope. So here's our envelope. I'm going to fold the envelope flap back. Add a touch of glue right here. Just like that. And then this print does have an up and down. Like this is clearly the top of your paper. So I don't want to put it on my envelope flap so it looks like it's going upside down. So I want to make sure the top of my paper is at the top of the envelope flap. I'm just going to set it in there. And the reason I have the body of the envelope standing up, it gives me something to push against. So I kind of know where the end of that envelope flap is. Now we're just going to trim. And there we go. Making sure I don't grab the ribbon scissors. We're just going to take that off. There we go. And this is flat paper going on flat paper, so that's perfect for the tape runner. And that goes on the inside. There's enough room for me to write a little bit more note. There we go. Let's trim up this. And I have another sympathy card that's going out in the mail tomorrow. Just trimming away using the envelope flap as my guide. But it just kind of finishes your card. So there we go. There's our sympathy card. And I used a suite of materials called Mixed Media Florals. You can find the directions at www.scrappinwithjoni.com. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it more than you know. If you liked what you saw, please share it with your crafty friends. Until next time, take care and keep crafting. It's good for you.